Hello friends, welcome to the next episode of How Did I Get Here, a series where I talk about the last 5 years of my life being homeless. So today we're going to talk about my 3 dogs. First and foremost, there's a few other stories I'm leaving out of this video. I'm going to make them into shorts and post them later. They just don't really fit the vibe. So be on the watch for that. So I'm on my buddy's property, and I had built a shack out in the woods I was living in. One day, I walked the property a little ways, and I noticed a German Shepherd. And my buddy showed up a little later on, and he asked me, "Did you see a German Shepherd?" "Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, I saw the German Shepherd." And he said, essentially, Lulu was her name. Lulu had tried to run away twice from where she was staying previously. She didn't really trust people, and if I could just try and watch over her and make sure she was good, she didn't run off. All right, that's no problem. Lulu, as I just said, she's a little skittish at the start. She mainly slept underneath the little shed, and I was all the way in the back of the property. She was in the front of the property. So eventually I was like, if I need to watch over this dog, I probably need to be down at the front of the property. And so my buddy had an old RV. It didn't run or anything, but it had a bed in it. So I decided to move into that RV towards the front of the property. And me and Lulu, we kind of hung out here and there. At the start, she really kept her distance from me. Mainly, she just slept under the shed, and I would put food and water right outside the shed. And then eventually I started putting food and water right outside the RV, and she'd come over, she'd eat there. She'd hang out with me at night, staying like 10 or 15 feet away. And then eventually she started to trust me, and she'd come up close to me. Eventually, she stopped sleeping under the shed, and she started sleeping underneath the RV. And I remember one night, it's pouring down rain, and she's underneath the RV. And here's the RV, it didn't have like an actual door. It was just open. And at one point during this rainstorm, she came up into the RV, and she walked over to a corner, and she laid down, and she just kind of hung out. I got her some food, some water. I put her right over there by her. And after that day, she started spending more time in the RV. That's where her food was now. She'd come up, she'd eat, she'd hang out. All good. And, she started letting me get real close to her. And she wanted to be close to me. And it was great. So then, probably about a month later, my buddy brings another dog, Raven. Raven, from my understanding, had failed police school, I guess you could say. And Raven, complete opposite of Lulu. And I had a few problems with Raven. So the first problem with Raven was, well, first off, Raven, she was not timid or scared or anything. First 10 minutes she was on the property. She was up in the RV, eating food and everything. First night she slept on the property, she jumped up into bed with me and slept with me in the bed. But the problem with Raven was she was very bad at resource guarding. So, and she wanted to be the boss, so to speak. So if Lulu came up in the RV and wanted food, Raven would snarl at her, growl at her, and I didn't really like that. And this went on for a few weeks until a hurricane happened. So what happened here, I don't remember which hurricane it was. It wasn't Helene. It was one of the ones before that. It wasn't the really bad one. I didn't want to sleep in the RV during the hurricane, so I went into a shed, and I remember Raven, she went right into the shed. No problem. No problem at all. Lulu would not go into the shed with Raven. She just didn't want to be around Raven at all. Eventually, I got Lulu into the shed. Lulu was not very happy about it. And I specifically put 2 dog bowls out, so, you know, they each had their one. I'd been doing that since I got Raven because of the resource guarding. And at one point, Lulu's eating from her dog bowl. She kind of walks off for a second. Then she goes back to eat. And before she can eat, a Raven snaps at her. And it was at that point Lulu had had enough. And Lulu corrected her, we will say. You know, she took Raven down. Not, you know, super aggressive, just natural dog correction. And, you know, it was just 5 seconds, it's done. And it was at that point Lulu realized she was the bigger dog. And she was the bigger dog. She had a good 15, 20 pounds on Raven. And from then on, Raven didn't really mess with Lulu all that much. Obviously, every now and then there'd be a little spat. But just regular dog correction behavior. And then after that hurricane, Lulu started sleeping in the bed with me. Like, she wasn't scared of Raven no more. Right? She learned she was bigger. And so Lulu and Raven, they both started sleeping with me in the bed. Didn't have any problems. Eventually, I remember, and here's the thing, one thing I should mention, they were completely like free roaming dogs. They were not put in kennels. The only time they were put in a kennel was if I had to walk to this. Right? But other than that, they were allowed to free roam. Until one day, Raven decided to kill a chicken. And, you know, can't have dogs killing the chickens. So I had to build them a kennel, and it was a nice little setup. Basically, I took like 6 foot high fencing, and I put it around the RV, basically. So they were contained, but they could go in and out of the RV as they please. So, you know, if they had to go potty, they could go outside, go potty. And if they just wanted to, you know, hang out in the RV with me, they could do that. Things were going really well. And then, eventually, Simpa came into my possession. Simpa was not a German Shepherd. She was a Belgian Groenendael. And I don't know the full story behind Simpa, but there's definitely a story there. So my buddy got Simpa from somebody else and brought her to me. And Simpa, all of her fur on her belly was gone. She was super skinny. She was so skinny, like skin and bones. And she was very nervous. One of the most nervous dogs I've ever seen. So I get her, and I put her in a separate kennel because I didn't want to introduce her to the pack immediately. So I put her in her own kennel. Next day, I come out, I let Lulu and Raven out of their kennel, out of the RV to run around and play, get exercise. Put them away. Then I go and I let Simpa out, and Simpa immediately bites me. She catches me right in the arm. You know, just full-on bite. And I put her on the ground. I kind of held her there until she calmed down for a minute. And then I let her up. And she ran around. She played. She went swimming. We had a little pond. And then I put her back in the kennel. Next day, I let Lulu and Raven out. They run around, they play. And this time, I didn't put them back in the RV. I let Simpa out. And Simpa didn't bite me this time. She was, towards me, she was very calm. Even towards the other two, Lulu and Raven, she was pretty calm. And the 3 dogs started to play. I'm thinking, oh, this is great. They're getting along really well. And then, weirdly enough, Lulu had the issue with Simpa here. I don't know if it's because, you know, Lulu, she was very timid, and then she realized, oh, she's bigger than Raven, so she's like second in command in the pack. And so now she thinks she has that responsibility or whatnot. I'm not a dog whisperer. I don't know exactly how these things work. But Lulu and Raven start going to the RV, and they go inside, you know, they're going to eat. And Simpa follows them. And as Simpa is entering the little kennel that's connected to the RV, Lulu turns around and just snaps at her. You know, she doesn't attack her, she doesn't bite her, she just kind of pulls back, barks at her, and, you know, Simpa kind of backs off. So what I did was I got a collar and a leash, put it on Lulu, held Lulu on the leash. Raven, no issues at all with Simpa. And I bring Simpa into the kennel and I locked it. So, me and all three of the dogs are in the kennel that's connected to the RV. And I got Lulu on a leash. She's on a tight leash. And Simpa starts eating food. And Lulu's kind of standing there. She's staring at her. And I kind of loosen up the leash with Lulu. I let Lulu get closer. And Lulu goes up to the food dish that Simpa's eating at. And Simpa just moves over. Like letting Lulu eat the food. Like no resource guarding at all. And Lulu starts to also eat right next to her. And I'm thinking, oh, this is great. Everything is going good. That night, I still wasn't prepared to have Simpa sleeping in the RV just yet. So what I did was I put her back in her kennel. Next day, I let all three dogs out at the same time. And things are going real good. Simpa and Raven did get into a little bit of a spat at one point. I don't remember why. I don't know what it was for. I was kind of turned away like this from them. And Lulu was sitting next to me, and they were about 10 feet away. And Raven and Simpa, they got into a little bit of a spat, but it broke up pretty quickly. And eventually, I needed to go to the store, and I thought, well, we're going to see what happens here. So, what I did was I locked Raven in the RV and kept Lulu and Simpa in the kennel part outside of the RV. Because at that point, Lulu and Simpa were getting on pretty good. And, it was Raven and Simpa that just had the spat. So I put them in there. Go to the store. I'm walking back. Buddy, who owns the property, he pulls up beside me as I'm walking back. And I asked him, were you just at the property? Did you just check on the dogs? He said, yeah, dogs are good. Raven's flipping out inside the RV, but everyone's alive. Awesome. So, I get back to the property. Let the dogs out to run around and play. Girl shows up. She wants to go to Jacksonville, go to the beach. So I'm like, all right. Put Raven back in the RV, Lulu and Simpa back in the kennel together. Go to the beach, come back. No dogs are dead. There's no blood. No, none of them have gotten into any fights. And so now I'm thinking, all right, it's time to completely keep Simpa around now in the kennel and everything. So the first night, I remember we're going to sleep. And Raven and Lulu both jump up on the bed with me. And Simpa walks over and she's thinking about it and she just goes underneath the bed. And she sleeps underneath the bed that night. And that's pretty much how things went for a few months. Eventually Lulu and Raven really accepted Simpa into the pack. Simpa eventually started sleeping on the bed with me and Lulu and Raven. Queen-size bed with a person and 3 dogs is a challenge. But it was... And Simpa, she started to gain her weight back, like a very healthy body weight. All the fur on her chest and belly started to come back, and she started to look so good. And, obviously, 3 dogs, there's going to be some issues here and there, but they were never major issues. Just a correction every now and then. Simpa was still a very nervous dog. Around me, she was perfect, no problems. Probably wouldn't trust her around anyone else, though. She was so nervous. So, yeah. So now we got to talk about what happened. So, 4 months into it, Lulu, Simpa, Raven, they're great. One day, I decide I need to go to the store, just to get some food and stuff. And the way I would normally get to the store is I jump on the railroad tracks, and I walk the railroad tracks to the store. It's about 3 miles, so hour there, hour back. And sometimes I'd walk the road, sometimes I'd walk the tracks, but normally I walk the tracks. Just depended on how I felt that day. And so I lock up the kennel and everything. I didn't have crates for him. Looking back, crates, I should have had crates, obviously. You know, I will never, ever, ever have a dog without having crates ever again. Just for, like, you know, whenever I'm gone for a few hours at a time. So I walked to the store. And somehow one of them, Lulu, Raven, or Simpa, one of them was able to undo the latch of the kennel because it was just like a metal gate with one of those latches. They were able to like lift the latch up somehow, and they were able to get out, and apparently they started running towards me down the railroad tracks. And you know, obviously I didn't see what happened, but while I was walking back from the store, I saw Lulu in the middle of the tracks, and then Raven was about 50 yards down, and Simpa was even further down. The train had come. And that sucked, man. That was... You know, they were like my best friends. We just, like, we hung out every single day. And yeah, it's not a happy ending at all. So I lost those 3. I was a wreck for like a week. And I don't really know how to end this video on a positive note. There isn't really a positive note to end. I did get another dog about 2 or 3 weeks later. I originally didn't want her because, you know, I wasn't ready for a new dog. But the circumstances happened and she needed a home very, very badly. And that's Jade, the dog I still have today. And we're going to talk about her in the next video. But yeah, that's the story of my 3 dogs. You know, 3 dogs like nobody wanted. Well, I don't want to say nobody wanted them. The owner of the land who gave them to me, like, he gave them to me because he knew they would be taken care of. Yeah, that's why he gave them to me to watch over. You know, he wanted them. But, you know, nobody else wanted them. And they all had their quirks and their little issues. But I loved them all. So yeah, that is going to do it for today's video. Next video is going to be all about Jade. And I'm going to be releasing a few shorts about some other things that happened on the property. They didn't fit into this video at all. So yeah, I hope you... I don't even want to say I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's not a video you should enjoy. But thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Thank you, Patreons. Peace out, everybody.